2020, a new decade, a new year. Here we are, we're living in the future. It's the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan, coming to us from the sunny shores of Hawaii. Justin LaBar, well across the globe over on the eastern seaboard there. I'm here on the West Coast. We're worldwide, baby. It's the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
We should have each of our local times in the corner of our screens.
Yeah, seriously, it's afternoon where Matt is still. Late afternoon.
It is. It's 5:12 p.m.
Wow. So All Elite Wrestling had the night to themselves tonight. NXT did a best of with the year-end awards. I don't know if anything eventful happened. If it did, please let me know. Did you guys even bother to flip the channel and see what NXT had going on tonight?
No.
Okay, there you have it. So if something eventful happened, chat room, let us know. I will sure to share that news tonight on the podcast. But other than that, we're all elite all the time tonight. AEW Dynamite, first show of the year. And the big news, they talked about this in interviews, but commentary was pretty upfront with this. The win-loss records reset as we go into the new year, giving everyone a fresh slate. Do you think, Matt, that it's impactful to have it happen when the promotion here is only 3 or 4 months old with its win-loss record, really?
No and yes. And the reason I say no is because of what you said. It's only been around for a few months. Yeah. Right? We were just learning the importance of these wins and losses from day one. But day one was only a few months ago. Okay? So you have that. But then by the same token, they have to do this reset because they have screwed up Kenny Omega so badly. They've screwed up the Young Bucks so badly. And their top talents that they desperately need as the anchors of this company to grow it to where they want it to grow it to, besides relying always on Jericho and Cody.
Yeah. And the opening video package, Justin said as much, saying we are the elite, we were the elite, we came into this with such high expectations, and showing how they've all pretty much been punked out at this point, right? Omega not setting the world on fire, Cody doesn't have a title around his waist, the Bucks don't have a title around their waists. I mean, really saying, is this our year, our time to shine, a reset for them? We have Jericho as the head of this company, but the guys that founded All Elite Wrestling are in a limbo.
Yeah, the opening video package was probably maybe the best opening video I've seen Dynamite have on the weekly basis, which, you know, tonight's a great night to have that because you are in many respects unopposed.
Right.
With NXT being a recap show. So yeah, it was a good, it's a good story. It's telling, like Matt said, it's probably best to reset, aside from the fact it's only been 3 months of having weekly television. It's probably best to reset, especially when you look long term, when you get 2, 3, 4 years down the road, assuming this thing's still going, it's going to make sense when the calendar year ends to reset the records. It's just this first time's odd because it's only 3 months in. But yeah, all the founders that are kind of they're getting punked out, they're not at their best. I just hope that whatever's going to be their WrestleMania and their calendar year, whatever that's going to prove to be, where that's like their big culmination. I just hope that the payoff isn't all these guys standing tall. I hope that's not what we're building to. Is just all the executive VPs standing tall, because that would be a little bit of a. Well, I don't want it to. Why do you want to see that then?
Because they're not. It's not. No offense to Jeff Jarrett, but it's not Jeff Jarrett booking himself to win the championship here. These are 3 guys, particularly Kenny and the Young Bucks, that, in my opinion, are still on the forefront of being who people want to pay to see. Devil. And they're still within their prime. They're not this outdated promoter that's now, that's just clinging on to hope, so they create their own company and then book themselves to win titles. That's not what they're doing here.
Well, don't get me wrong, Matt. I'm not saying that all the people we're talking about. I'm not saying that the Young Bucks shouldn't get. I'm not saying they shouldn't overcome hurdles. I'm just hoping that's not we're not building to that being the culmination of whatever their storyline year is. I hope I hope it all just comes in waves. I don't want it all just to be. I don't want that to be the story of whatever their WrestleMania is going to be. Is that all the executive vice presidents came over, overcame everything.
But this is my company. I from day one, I don't know how we unsee what we've seen thus far with how they booked. But what I would do is I would keep those 2 teams as separate for as long as I could, and I'd have them just run roughshod over if those two teams meet in this pinnacle type of match for the world tag team championships.
Yeah, I think that's one way to build it. Yeah, we can hear you. So if anyone's asking what's going on with my background, Matt, I just switched to a simple background because I want to preserve your bandwidth. I don't want to be sending complicated video because I want to make sure that you're able to send more than receive tonight, so we can get your opinion.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm keeping it simple tonight, folks. For anyone watching live on this. So no, I agree that there's a story here, whether you like where it's going or not. Justin, to your point, it could go bad, it could go good, but I thought there was also something sort of meta tonight about maybe saying with All Elite. And at first I thought they weren't saying it was the Elite themselves that had not failed, but failed to succeed in the being on top of their own company. I thought there was something sort of meta of saying, we started off hot, but we didn't do enough to deliver on the promise of All Elite Wrestling because they've been trading wins with NXT back and forth pretty early in the game. I don't think anyone expected that to happen. I like the idea they treated tonight like a bit of a reboot.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't expect it. I expected them to stomp on NXT every week.
So I just want to give a shout out to Hajulashi here.
$20.
$20 super chat, throwing some support to what's become my weekly routine. Cheers to all the content you put out for us, and a heart emoji. Thank you so much, sir or miss. We have the best fans. It's absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure you guys have seen it too. We've gotten a lot, unless maybe it's the holiday season, it's the end of the year, but a lot of people have been putting us over, and thank you all who tune in and who go so far to spread the word far and wide about this podcast.
Yes, definitely. We got the best fans of any podcast. We do.
No, it's true. So Cody tonight versus Darby Allin, a rematch of their match to a draw last year was one of my absolute favorites of 2019. What was different tonight was Cody had Arn Anderson in his corner. Matt, what do you think about that pairing now with Arn as the head coach of Cody's Nightmare Family faction?
I need a coach. I didn't get that. Cody's not some up and comer to me. I like having Arn out there. You know what I mean? You don't need to give me a reason. I'm not big of a mark for him. But if I'm being fair, like I would if this was NXT, I'd ask the same question. I'd say, hey, why the hell is Finn Balor? Why does Finn Balor have something like that, like by himself? He doesn't need some sizzle to his steak, if you will. And that's usually what that managerial role or coach is for, is to provide the sizzle to the steak.
Yeah, I mean that's the number one critique I saw, and it's a fair point that Matt and the others that share it make, is that again, Cody he's a veteran, so does he need somebody out there essentially calling the plays for him? At one point, he even huddled up with Arn. Arn looked like a head coach trying to call the next play and covering his mouth. But I'll accept it simply because, kind of going back to what we just talked about, Cody's had a rough go of it. He's gotten betrayed by MJF. He's had this and that happen. He's lost his chance to ever challenge for a title again, or a world title again. So
yeah,
from the standpoint of it's almost like that. It's like we're like 3/4 of the way through the movie. He's going through he's going through the training montage. He's got to find that mentor again to bring him back. So from that respect, I take it, and I like the fact that they're not reinventing the wheel here, but they're presenting Arn as a coach, not as the old-fashioned manager, kind of like how Tully's doing for Shawn Spears. Arn's out there, again, calling plays, strategizing, even to the point of, and again, I know some people didn't like this, but even to the point of what the finish was, of getting up on the apron and patting his knee, like calling the play for Cody of get your knees up for the counter. Again, you might say, does a veteran need to have that? But it's pro wrestling. Let's suspend disbelief. Cody just went through an almost 20-minute knockdown, drag-out match. He's dazed. He's confused. Yeah, hey, knee. It's no different than a corner man telling a boxer in the 12th round, hit the uppercut. It's having that extra set of eyes for you. So all things said, I actually like this presentation.
My only thing with it is, can you guys hear me okay?
I hear you loud and clear.
There's a little delay. I apologize. My only problem with it is, again, it's just the fact that it's Cody. He's a main event babyface. Usually people that need managers or coaches or any kind of side acts with them, if you will, is again those acts that can't talk for themselves, that maybe not, they don't speak the same language as English, whatever have you. There's usually a reason for it, and I'll be honest, I don't think Cody's failed winning the title, yes, but other than that, I've not really seen enough. Okay, go back to the drawing board again. Poor Cody Rhodes. Every time I watch him, I'm like, damn, this dude holds the damn crowd in the palm of his hand. He's the most overactive. Usually, out of any of the baby faces, every single week he comes out there. The fans love him. And again, to me, he's not some mid-card or lower card act that needs this boost. He is someone that we should be using, which they do a good job of. In the past, Darby Allin's a great example. That draw. I don't know. I just don't think he needs a coach.
No, I agree. I mean, this is something where more storytelling, and I apologize if they did this online and how they set this up. But Matt, to what you're saying, Justin, to what you're saying, even our chat room, people talking about like Rocky 3, Rocky 4. I think if Cody went on a bender, lost himself, clearly showed that the betrayal of MJF, all these losses got to him, Arn being the guy to pull him out of that. Although you could say, why isn't DDP the guy pulling him out of it? Because that makes far more sense storyline wise. So yeah, it did seem a little random.
It does.
Yeah, I feel like there could have been more story there. Now, this is a controversial take, depending on how you feel about Darby Allin. I complained tonight, Darby losing to Cody. They had that amazing draw of a match. What was it at? It wasn't Fighter Festival. It was Fight for the Fallen. So what put Darby on the map, that draw. Him losing tonight, this dude is such a star in the making. Why does he keep getting treated like a lower card enhancement talent?
I'll be honest, though. I'd be complaining if Cody lost. I would. I'd be going, what the hell? It's Young Bucks again. Stop freaking beating your top stars when wins and losses are supposed to matter so much. Maybe it's the WWE in this instance. Stop booking these two people against each other where both towns desperately need a win. But then we don't get that enjoyable, awesome match of Darby Allin. I was okay with this. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
it's smart. He has the sympathy that you automatically get behind him during the heat. That he's one of those Jeff Hardy types that could. I don't want him to continue to lose, obviously, but if he loses, I don't feel as much as it would other acts.
And to that point, it's all about expectation, right? Whether you're a hardcore fan or whether you're somewhat of a casual new fan who's discovered AEW, you go Cody Rhodes, you go Darby Allin. What's the expectation? Well, Cody Rhodes, your expectation is for him to do a certain your expectation is for him to win. Darby Allin has already gotten put over in the ways just going to a draw, a time limit draw with Cody Rhodes is getting put over in the fashion he did. So, the expectation there, Darby doesn't need to win this right now. He's going to get his. He's going to keep moving up. He's already made progress as is in a short time, relatively speaking. But it's all about expectation. And really, I think he got put over by a time limit draw. Now it's okay. Cody's got to win because Cody's got bigger things to do. He's got to get through Wardlow, which we'll talk about. He's got to get to MJF. So it's just all about expectation. You don't need the expectation is not for Darby Allin to necessarily win this again or go to a draw again. There's no harm here in him losing in the fashion he did.
Yep.
I think there's so much mystique in a draw. And I think that he was the first draw in AEW, the first match to end in a draw. I don't know. I feel like, let me put it this way. I wish they'd given some of the time to him over the summer that Sean Spears got, some of the time Hangman Adam Page got. I feel like these guys, like Darby should be a face of the company, whereas MJF's been protected. Look how they're the same age, but they treat Darby more like a kid, whereas they're protecting MJF. He's not. He's clearly being treated more like a superstar than Darby is.
And I mean, I love Darby. I'm one of his biggest fans. But with that said, I'm sorry. He is no MJF. MJF is a freaking a walking, talking money print. That dude can make money any company he works for. That's how damn good that dude is. He's different. He's on a different stratosphere than everybody else, in my opinion.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Darby's got that it factor.
He does. Oh my God,
different type.
He definitely does. Yeah. And you're right. I would have taken that over Adam Page. A lot of the time that they put in the Hangman and all the other people that you talked about, but especially the chairman, I agree with that as well, because he is special. He is different. But Adam's
Well, Evan Wright saying Darby's had matches with Jericho, Cody, and Moxley. What else do you need? And this is what we talked about. I mean, and this is us being fair. This is us applying rules equally. We talk about this all the time with Monday Night Raw. You can't tell us Humberto Carrillo is hot shit, or Cedric, or even Ricochet. You can't tell us these guys are going places in the business because they're losing.
They're not winning.
Yeah,
right.
You got to have something, and that's where I think they're out. Is because of the draw. I think they should have kept the draw gimmick a bit longer, but they just started having him lose, and I don't think that's a good look for him.
No, it's not. There's other matches he should have won, in my opinion.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's my soapbox on that one. Tweet at me with how wrong I am or how wrong you think I am.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Well,
I'll interject that tweet if they do, because you're right on this one with him.
Yeah, I just think he's got a lot of potential. And remember, we're building a TV show with AEW. Something like, who do you want to watch every week? And I want to see the Darby Allin show.
I want to see pre-tapes. I want to see vignettes with him. Those are what are really dope with him, are those vignettes.
Absolutely. So Cody won that match via pinfall. It was a good match. Went for quite a bit at the opening of the show. We saw SEU cutting a promo where they mentioned Dark Order. So definitely continuing to sow the seeds there. We had a fatal four-way tonight for the AEW Women's World Championship. Riho defending against Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Hikaru Shida. So a lot of people seem to really like this match. What did you think of this women's fatal four-way with Riho retaining?
Man, I'm still not a fan of this women's division. And to be fair, I watched Power the other night. I'm not a fan of their women's division thus far either. We give AEW a lot of crap for bad women, how they book the women's wrestlers. Power is not much better. It's terrible, by the way, in my opinion. Sans Nick Aldis's what's her name? Camille. She's a star, dude, in every sense of the freaking word. FYI, that girl she's a main event act. I'm being dead serious. One day, I just don't know for who. Hopefully WWE. But I was gonna say we give them a lot of rough times about AEW women and how they book the women's wrestlers, because they have a freaking stacked roster of women that they just don't book the right way. It should be so easy.
Yeah. What do you think they're going?
I don't care about Riho. No offense. I just don't care about Riho.
And that's the problem. You know, this four-way match wasn't bad. Nyla Rose was dominant. Right. You know, Nyla was dominant. You know, Britt had picked some spots of resiliency. But it comes down to, I think I tweeted, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I think as I just sat and thought about it some more and watched some replies, it comes down to, I'm sorry, Riho is so small. First off, again, it goes back to her size. She makes no noise when she bumps, and then even when she, I feel like she's just waiting and looking for the next spot. Like she's waiting for her next spot. It doesn't feel like she's doing the match. It feels like she's memorizing the match, if that makes sense.
You're 100% right about memorizing the match and memorizing spots. You're absolutely right. You wrestled, you manage and stuff. You know what it looks like, and that's what it looks like. Really quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but I see some of the comments coming in. We're not saying this match wasn't frigging awesome. It was, and you all are saying the same thing. Best female match for AEW. That's not what we're trying to compare things to. We're trying to compare things to everything that we watch that's out there in wrestling world when it comes to women's wrestling. I want to see matches on this show that could compete with Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. And I'm sorry, they do have the talent to do it. Nyla Rose is a monster. How that girl continues to lose is beyond me. There's so many of them. Kong's a monster. Your girl from Pittsburgh.
Britt
Baker.
Come on, Britt Baker. Dude, she's a freaking star.
She'll be on next week. Chris
Statlander.
She'll be on next week. You know, she's got.
She is as well. She's got it too. Yeah. Those are the four, and I'm probably leaving a few out, that you just book to the high heavens just to continue to win and be dominant. Not these people that we've never heard of, we don't care about, we know nothing about them. I don't care how good the match is then. It takes me out of the match because there are people doing moves that I don't care about.
And say what you will about the darker era of WWE wrestling, but even when it was Melina versus Alicia Fox, like those were very well-established personalities having a match. It might not have technically been the best.
We know who they were. We knew what their motives were.
Yeah. And this tonight, Britt Baker eating the pin. Yeah. And then Nyla attacking Riho after.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that, but not Britt Baker taking another L. I do not understand this. Is the company pissed at her or something? I missed something?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe they can't have a part-time champ, Matt. Maybe she needs to close her dental practice and then she'll get to wear the gold.
Not funny.
I mean, that does seem like kind of a weird thing. Your world champion has a day job. That does, I mean, hear me out. That does seem to send kind of a weird message.
Okay, I'll tell you what a weird message was. Is when we had our women's champion. Why is her name escaping me? Taylor Wilde working at Sunglass Hut when I was at TNA, and she was our women's champion. A good look, and that ain't her fault.
There you
That's
go.
the damn company's fault. Not paying her what she was worth.
Yeah. Wasn't one of the girls at TNA also like a Miss Hooters at the same time that she was wrestling at TNA?
I don't know. I probably I didn't know. I don't know who.
And there's nothing wrong with having a day job. God knows there's a lot of indie wrestlers that do, but when you're in the, one of the top promotions, when you're in a national promotion with a major TV deal, it does, and billionaires funding your company. I get you. And Justin, you've said this before, Britt doesn't want to walk away from all that she's built, but AEW should make that a little more attractive for her to put it on pause.
Yes.
I think what should be done, my opinion of what should be done in her life and her booking, I think they should do, if they're going to keep her as a babyface, I think they need to go the extra mile and telling the story that it's not that she's working the day job because AEW is not paying her enough, because she's getting paid quite well by AEW, but it's like, do the babyface story that she still wants to do she went to school for it. She wants to help. They need to tell that story, because I do think that as time goes on, and if she does become their champion eventually, I think it's a valid observation. You would go, no other world champion on any major TV promotion has ever been talked about that they have a day job. She's flying back on Thursday to a dental practice.
Here's the problem. Not the problem, but the good part, working on this, working at some like little small bit career or small little tiny job. We're talking about a dentist here. Somebody who's educated. So if I'm this company, this is my company, I will tell that story of this woman who is every woman, quote unquote, every woman who is Superwoman, who believes that inspiring our young ones, our youth, our girls that are growing up today, that they can do any damn thing they want. You want to go be a dentist? Hell, go do it like I did. You want to be the women's champion? Shit, I'm going to be that next month. And talk like that.
Yes, thank you, Matt. You're way more articulate on that than I could be. They need to tell a story just to make it all come together and make it seem like why to help sell it that much more of why she's doing it.
I mean, what a cool story for little girls out there to watch, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with that. And I think that, okay, in a weird way, I think they think they're telling that story. I don't think it's coming across.
Yes. Yes, Glenn. Yeah. They're not telling it that way. They think they are, but they're not. Yes.
Yeah. Something about it just seems off.
Well, and part of that just comes down to 1 2-hour show each week, not counting the YouTube extras, not counting Dark. If people are just watching Dynamite, part of it just runs down to how much time do you have in 2 hours each week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nyla Rose attacked Riho. I'm assuming Nyla's going to interfere with the championship match next week, and maybe that's how they protect Chris from taking the L and Riho retaining.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Let's talk about this Dark Order promo tonight. Recap of what happened on the episode before the holidays. It was Evil Uno talking about how the Elite are done. We saw the footage from when they took out the group. This was kind of different tonight. It lacked the production value, I think, and really leaned heavily on that show closing moment before the holiday. Matt, what do you think about this storyline? Because clearly the Dark Order versus the Elite is the big overarching, I mean, next to Jericho and Moxley, this is it, right? I mean, we got this, I would say, is even bigger than Cody versus MJF right now in terms of build.
I can't imagine what connected from this altogether. And I was online watching everybody's just laughter with, this is how you close off your show going out, you know, last week. That's how you close the show, with them doing that, saying that, sounding like that. It wasn't just a guy missing those errant punches. All right. It was the whole, it's just across. You can't even call it horrific. I don't even know what you call it, but it looks so minor league. It just does. It just does. I have no other way to say it. I don't like saying it because I am a homer for AEW. I admit it all the time, but I got to be fair and give, you know, fairer than this was garbage.
Castro the Prince asking, why do they have to have two huge heel factions? Isn't one trying to take over the company enough? It does seem a little redundant, but I mean, let's just get a vote here based on what we saw with Adam Page.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So with Adam Page not coming out at the end, and they're setting up the Dark Order versus the Elite, Adam Page is joining the Dark Order, right? Like, that's where this is all building towards.
You would think so, but here's the question. Then what? Does he have to wear a mask?
Oh, touche.
How's that? Isn't that the gimmick? Like, you get in by putting on the mask and covering up the specialty of you being a superstar that has now joined this group, which would be so stupid.
Maybe they make him a custom mask. Justin, what do you think, Justin?
like Hulk machine. Hang on, right back.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of seems like it's inevitable where they're going. I mean, maybe, but maybe that's part of it. Put on the mask. He puts on some kind of mask, and I mean, let's be fair. It's not like Hangman Page has like been shot out of a cannon. In terms of like he's just been kind of just there. So I wouldn't be opposed to this. I wouldn't be opposed to giving some kind of depth where he puts on the mask. Maybe he has a struggle with it for a while, and then think of the big payoff when he eventually defects from the group and rips it back off. I mean, yeah, you think inevitably that's where it's going to head to.
Yeah. Oh, there you go, Matt. Dave Langer, Hangman could wear a hangman's mask. Like, built into the gimmick right there.
There you go. But again, he's still joining an incredible gimmick.
Yeah. Some of those vignettes were cool, but they need to get back to that.
And I gave him credit. I said, okay, you know what? This got my attention. I kind of like where they're going with it. I did. For like 2 weeks there, maybe 3.
So we got Jon Moxley versus Trent. Trent had Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy alongside him tonight. Moxley coming out through the crowd. That was electric. And I have to say again, to put this over, I know it seems like so long ago, Moxley showing up at the end of Double or Nothing is probably in my top 3 wrestling moments for all of 2019. And I'm so glad that he's still got this momentum behind him, at least as far as the crowd's concerned. Putting him against Jericho, I think, is going to be phenomenal. What did you think, Matt, of this match against Trent tonight? And Moxley, mixing it up with Orange Cassidy a little bit.
I like that. You're right about him having that whole aura about him of still being special. I agree. He still has it. He being Moxley. I'm just gonna fast forward and put it out there that I think he's gonna win the championship.
Really?
I do. Wow. I do, because something's fault, obviously, if AEW is not winning in the ratings war versus NXT. It's definitely not his fault. But I still think something needs to change to draw eyeballs back to this show. And you shouldn't book a show that way. Honestly, you shouldn't book for shock value. to get fans to come over and see what's going on in your show just for a week or two, right? Which is sometimes what a title swap can do. But I don't know. They can't afford another DQ. Moxley can't lose. What do you do?
Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, just by the way they space out that, we have far more weeks in between major pay-per-views, obviously, than what WWE does. It kind of feels like by the time we get to the end of February that the Moxley should beat Jericho. And yeah, because AEW's kind of been outspoken that they don't want to take cheap shortcuts in terms of easy DQs and what have you. They want to try to put more effort into the booking. Yeah, you kind of think it'd be hard to imagine them beating Moxley, and then where does it go after that? I mean, yeah, so I could definitely agree with Matt and seeing him taking the title here into February. But yeah, I mean, the match against Trent was fun. I think everybody was waiting for the interaction with he and Orange Cassidy. We got a little one. They definitely just left it so much out there and to be desired, which I guess is great. But yeah, I mean, and then they had the Jericho thing afterwards. Him trying to offer the most expensive car in America to Moxley, which is kind of funny to me because, here's a guy who, John Moxley, doesn't opt for pomp and circumstance entrance. He doesn't have lights and pyro. He walks through the crowd. So there's some funny dynamic to me about him being offered $1 million car as if that's going to woo him. Maybe the comedy is part of the irony of it all, but yeah, I don't know. It's fun. Good match. Good segment.
Yeah.
So
it was, dude. I like this.
Yeah. So after Moxley defeated Trent, out comes Sammy Guevara, the Chachi Arcola version in
good call. Good call.
Of the Inner Circle, saying, "Hey, the Fonz wants to have a talk with you." We get Chris Jericho live by video making that offer. Jericho offered him the 49% of Inner Circle LLC, which leads me to believe if Jericho's keeping 51%, the other members of the Inner Circle don't have any ownership stake in the faction. That's weird. But
they got to win some. They got to win some more matches until they get some stock options.
Yes. Offers them a Ford GT, a beautiful looking car with a license plate that says Mox on it. And then it's interesting. See, I just don't like when they purposefully drag it out and Moxley getting on the mic and saying, "Oh, I considered you a friend. I'll give you an answer in person next week." It's like
he's got to think it over.
Yeah. It gives us something. It gives us some. I don't know. We know he's gonna say no. It just gives it that extra week. We always say we want to see cliffhangers, especially Raj. He always talks about that, right? Like to have some type of cliffhangers that tie loose ends week to week to week to make you want to tune in the next week. I know this is a week one because we know he's going to say no, right? But I was okay with it.
And who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, we know at the finale is he's not going to be with them. He's still going to have a match with Jericho. Who knows? To kill a few weeks, he might counteroffer with a few counter negotiations, and he might join them and be a very half-ass participant for a week or so. You don't know. I mean, they could try that. Just for some fun shtick.
Would that be funny?
Jericho has a match and he's out and they have Moxley standing out there like Hager would, and he's trying to be like an enforcer, but he's not really doing much. I mean, they could have some fun, some comedy that Moxley would endorse.
Yeah, I still like my Moxley ass.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe they'll have a board meeting, and Moxley doesn't want to hang with the fact that they go by Robert's Rules of Order, so he just can't hang with the group. He gets busted speaking out of turn.
Robert's Rule. Good
Moxley
job.
takes the car. He wrecks the car. Just.
Anyhow, enough fantasy booking on that. We'll see what happens next week. We got Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara tonight. Jake Hager ringside. Of course, they Inner Circle beat down Dustin a few weeks back. Sammy picked up a win here. This certainly did what it needed to do. What did you think of the match and seeing Sammy with Dustin, Matt?
Love this. This was my favorite part of the night, to be honest. I love Sammy Guevara. Yes, for me, because I'm a huge Sammy mark. I think he's got it, and running with Jericho is going to help him. and it already started to help him. You could see little nuances he's changed. He's very comfortable being a dick to these fans and being a heel. When you're new and you're still learning how to be a heel. And I'm watching him get better every single time I see him out there. And this is big, and it cements him. He's not just his errand boy anymore, right? This is a very big win.
This is a big win. I agree with the destination they got to, which is Sammy getting the win. I disagree with how they got there. Two things. One, I mean, these two guys who are like, I mean, you know, Dustin could be Sammy's dad. I'm talking age-wise. So, you know, it's pretty phenomenal to watch them go the way they did. Dustin did an awesome Canadian Destroyer pile driver on the apron. Yep. I don't believe in there being anything after that. So that like kind of stuck with me. Like, I mean, AEW's ring is custom.
I agree with that.
AEW's ring is custom. Their apron's actually bigger than WWE's. They did this on purpose. That way they could do these spots. So, I mean, the spots look cool. I mean, they're risky, but they look cool, but I have a hard time with that not being the finish. And then what leads to the actual finish, Dustin's getting ready to do his, what did he call it? His gold dust was the Shattered Dreams spot. I just don't, like the ref stepping in to stop him from doing such. To me, that's up there with why does the ref stop the match in a Hell in a Cell over in WWE? I just had a problem with the logic. I'm fine that Sammy got the win, but how they got there baffles me.
I'm okay because a star got made in this, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, again, I like the finale. What came out of it, I just questioned the false finishes.
Yep.
So Adam Page had a segment with Private Party tonight. Not a lot to it, but I think it further kind of set up that Paige is going his own way, I think, with this, and having a little conflict with Private Party. I think, I feel like there was a little build here. But then Paige, of course, came out for commentary on the last match, which we'll talk about. Let's talk about MJF and Wardlow, though. So MJF was announcing his stipulations to wrestle Cody at AEW Revolution. And before we get to that match, we're going to have Wardlow versus Cody in a steel cage on free AEW television in the coming weeks. How do you think that match is going to go, Matt? And, I mean, I guess Wardlow is going to have to take the L on this one, right? I mean...
Which is bullshit. I don't think that'll happen. I think he'll take an L, but it'll be a DQ.
Gotcha.
He's not being pinned. There's no way that freaking dude is being pinned in his first match. No way.
Justin, what do you make of how they're booking Wardlow as MJF's muscle?
Well, I mean, it's been real slow up to this point. There hasn't been too much to. They haven't left themselves open to too much criticism. He's not saying anything, which he doesn't have to. He's just being, his look says enough. They're letting MJF do the talking. You know, he's a presence. His first match in AEW, being a steel cage against Cody. This is actually this is a smart move. Now we'll get to what the conclusion is in a second here, but a steel cage match actually for a guy for Wardlow being the gimmick he is, being a brute. This plays right into making him look like a stud. You know, you don't have to, giving him a gimmick to ricochet Cody off of and to potentially even get some color if it gets to that. This is a great thing. It'd actually be a tougher proposition to have Wardlow, who's never had a televised match in front of an AEW audience, to have a match that is just a normal one-on-one match in a ring. The fact they're giving him a gimmick actually is kind of like a head start, so to speak. Now, how they book it will be interesting because you can't have him get pinned. How do you pull a DQ off is questionable because it's a steel cage. So we'll have to see. But I trust that Cody and them have thought about this far beyond that. They have an exit strategy, so that'll be fine. Sure. But I'd be interested to see this. Wardlow's from Cleveland. They're in Cleveland for TV at the end of January, so it might be a prime spot to do it.
Listen, here's what's going to happen. They're going to cut open the bottom of the ring again. Mark my words. And Butcher and Blade are going to come into it somehow.
There you have it. Matt Morgan with a prediction.
Or it's going to be be me, Matt Morgan. I'm going to book myself into this angle.
I can't wait till we see a 7-foot tall dude in the Dark Order with a mask on that has the same tattoos as Matt Morgan. I'm like, what the hell? It's a rib on you.
That you got to do, Matt. Next time they're
and the mask is blue.
Yeah. Hey, if Virgil can come out of retirement to appear on AEW, I think, Matt, you can do an episode.
Not in Dark Order. Good Lord, no.
Did you see someone called Wardlow on Twitter a poor man's Matt Morgan?
I did see that. Yeah.
So there
I don't
you
know
go.
what they're talking about. He's not 7 feet. He's completely different. I wish I had Homeboy's hair though. He's a good looking guy. He's a good looking kid, and he's gonna. That dude's what I like most about what they're doing with him. They did this with me at TNA. They made me wear a suit on purpose every single week, so I couldn't rely on my body language and rely on my physique and things like that in promos. I know it sounds crazy because how do you talk with your body? You do a lot of talking with your body, believe it or not. And what they're doing with him is he's going to improve so much because he can't rely on his awesome physique. So it makes people, number one, want to see what does this dude look like. 2, what does he wrestle like? And people are going to pay to see it, man. I think he can be a big star for them. I hope he is.
Yeah, by the time he rips the suit off like Superman and people finally see him in his physique, it's going to mean much more because they've kept it hidden.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Jai3592 with the £5 super chat, wishing us a happy new year from Scotland, saying, I just don't feel that any of the female talents have any personality or character. So we got this backstage interaction with Riho and Britt Baker, and
I'm doing the convergence, the currency exchange. I want to see how much £5 is for us.
Yeah. Britt saying to Riho, you just roll in, steal a win, head off. Britt's there each week along with running her dental practice. It's tough. See, this is where I think it's dangerous because it's not building heat between Britt and Riho. I mean, I guess it builds a story between them, but I don't think you should have people making valid criticisms of your champ. Like your champ just shows up, wins. Riho is a real non-factor on AEW TV, and she's the goddamn women's champ. You shouldn't have anyone saying or repeating that on air when it's so true. Right? I mean, Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the point there. And again, I guess I'm just picking on Riho here. Then it goes back to Riho. Then she looks like this scared little girl who I was like, she's the champion. She looks like this scared little girl who turns to her interpreter and says a few things, and then her interpreter. I'm sorry. I'm sure Rio's a wonderful person, but this is just. I just don't buy her. I just don't buy her at all. I don't buy at all that she has. It's like she's your champion. She looks scared to be there.
Yeah. So let's talk about the curse of AEW audio tonight. Continues versus this promo with Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. Marco went to hug the announcer. Luchasaurus said something that was inaudible. And these little production things, Matt. I mean, in TNA, you guys had mics that worked. You had good mixing. You had good sound. You could hear what people were saying. How is AEW not able to get this dialed in?
Speaking of mics, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
All right. I don't know. With Keith Mitchell working with this company, I don't understand where the drop off is or what they're missing. Do you know what I mean? Because Keith Mitchell's a genius, and like you said, TNA, our audio was always perfect, and other companies as well. So I don't know what's going on here with it. I really don't.
I don't get it, Justin. What have you heard about their production and their crew?
I haven't heard much, but it's been noticeable. I mean, every week there's been something. I remember one week I was griping about it on social media, like the sound, one thing will be so low, and then you get to something else and it'll be extremely high. I don't know what's going on. I mean, WCW back in the day was known for, unfortunately, they would miss some major shots. One of my favorite stories of the abbreviated version is Mark Madden, who's here in Pittsburgh with me, who did commentary for Nitro for a little while. They did a famous thing where Goldberg rode something into the arena. I forget exactly what it was. And Madden basically said in a production meeting, he goes, "You guys are going to miss this entirely." And they said, "Oh no!" And in fact, they did. You missed Goldberg drive the vehicle in. By the time they got the shot on Goldberg, he was always already halfway down the aisleway. I always think about things like that, and just the importance of planning. And okay, WWE is kind of like that top-notch industry standard in the live event of pro wrestling sports entertainment world. AEW has so much else going for them. Keith Mitchell as Bruce or as Matt's talking about. They have good sets. They have so many other good things going for them, but their live audio is just every week. It's something. And it's not that we're being overly critical or harsh on them. It's a real thing. It makes you look amateur when those little things happen. When somebody gives you a first impression chance, it just comes off amateurish. So I don't know. I don't know what the situation is or why there's a problem. I don't know if they're picking up a certain amount of freelancers each town they're in, and so there's a lack of consistency. Because because WWE has a core group of production people that are freelancers, but are basically on retainer, and then they have like freelance stagehands who help build the sets, and those are just local carpenters. I don't know if AEW is going a little bit further in the local stagehands, and like they're hiring local audio mixers in each town, and that would be a problem to help not hold standards and policy and consistency. I don't know. But something needs to get corrected with their audio because they've had a major problem for many weeks here.
Yeah. So let's talk about Pac and the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega with a tipsy Adam Page on commentary. As for the first main event of 2020, Matt, what did you think of this match?
Wasn't a fan of Adam Page being drunk on commentary, but they're trying to tell stories, right? They're trying to tell a story. The match was freaking amazing. You guys didn't love this match?
That was good. I mean, these guys always put on good matches.
Right. Yeah. To be fair, I'm blown away by most of these matches on Dynamite, right? But I don't know. I just want to see them get to the reset button right now.
This did not feel like a full reset tonight. This felt like the in-between episode. I think next week, even with the win-loss record, right? Tonight, they were still talking about people's wins and losses. So it resets next week, I'm assuming.
Me too.
It was a very entertaining match. I mean, I get nitpicky. There was a couple times where I was like, why aren't they selling that? I could have sold that more. But I guess it's just the style, and it is what it is. But the important thing is the people were really into it. And it was a big bang to end the show. So all picky critiques aside.
Yeah.
So we had Cody come out. We had the Bucks. We had Kenny all celebrating them trying to get Adam Page to come into the ring. Page said he's heading out and saying, he didn't do anything, so he didn't go to the ring, but he gave a thumbs up.
And by the way, since we're kind of wrapping the broadcast here, shout out to Taz. This is the first Dynamite that Taz has done on commentary. I know he did Dark. I thought Taz fit. I mean, Taz is always a good commentator. Back to his WWE days, I thought he did. I thought he blended right in with these guys really well.
He did. He did do a good job. You're right.
So shout out to Taz.
Yeah, I think he should definitely be in the mix going forward. What else do we have to cover tonight, Justin?
We'll just two quick news items. One's more of a congratulations. Revealed on social media by both parties. Andrade and Charlotte Flair are officially engaged. Andrade posted a picture of him with Charlotte on New Year's Eve and said that she said "see," so they are engaged. So, this is interesting. I mean, obviously, congratulations to them. They've been a couple. We've known this for a bit. So Andrade, his lineage joining the Flair family. So, good for them. I don't know if WWE's if they'll do anything with this beyond congratulations. I hope not, but we'll wait and see. The other kind of notable news coming into this is we got the ratings. It's a holiday week, so they get a little bit delayed for us. We got the ratings and viewership for this past week's Monday Night Raw. Of course, this is the Raw that was anchored and in the main event spot built around the Lana Lashley wedding. Right. And this Raw drew an average of 2.439 million viewers. Now, what does that mean? The last time WWE had a Raw that had a higher average of viewers was back in September when it was the season premiere of Raw. So now there was a drop from hours 1, 2, and 3 did continue to drop. 2.5 to 2.4 to 2.3. But it should be noted, the drop between hour 1 and hour 3 was one of the lower margins. So it was not as steep of a drop off, which does let us to believe, whether you like it or not, folks, people did tune in or did hang around to see this wedding. If you look at the YouTube numbers are among the best for this the wedding segment. So interesting here, because obviously the wedding's got a lot of people buzzing, good, bad, or otherwise.
I said this would happen. I'm just pointing that out.
There you have it. Well, good for Liv Morgan, good for Rusev, and good for Bobby Lashley, and even Lana to an extent.
What do you mean even Lana to an extent? She's the centerpiece of this.
Again, I think you're going to take the wrong takeaways from this.
Come on,
I think Lana's talented.
You're the feminist supporter here. What do you mean into Lana to some take?
Look, remember when Lana came back and had that championship match? What was it, against Naomi?
Yeah.
I was the one putting Lana over, looking like a world champ until she actually started wrestling. Like,
well, it should be noted, she did reveal that she is going to have a return to the ring in 2020. Lana said.
I think Lana's talented. I think it's the writing and material with this, and it's just a bad angle. But whatever. It is what it is. Matt Morgan's got a plane to catch in a couple hours, heading back stateside. And we're going to be back here Friday night to talk about the first SmackDown, the first WWE show of 2020. Matt, nothing to plug, nothing else to discuss. We're good?
No, you guys know where to hit me up, at BP Matt Morgan on Twitter and Instagram.
There you have it. He's at Justin LaBar. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein, and we will catch you back here on Friday. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope your 2020 is off to a great start. We'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
Aloha, bro.